Happy Super Bowl Sunday to everyone out in YouTube and to all of us members of the Autumn Wind uh, Football League. Today, we are celebrating two wildcard playoff games in our Autumn Wind Stratomatic Football League. And of course, we also are celebrating Super Bowl Sunday later on today at 6:30, of course. But in the meantime, we do have a couple of playoff games in which to play for our wildcard weekend. Two already are in the books. The NFC games took place yesterday, and congratulations to the St. Louis Rams and congratulations to the Oakland Raiders, who will move on to the divisional playoffs next week. That was the NFC. Today we have two AFC tilts. The one we're going to broadcast here momentarily, it features the San Diego Chargers, who are coached by longtime Stratomatic veteran Paul Mankiewicz. And Mankiewicz, half man, half Mankiewicz, as Tom Cook would say. And they will be facing off against the Chicago Bears. And they are coached by Luke Delfume. So we're going to get started here momentarily as soon as they send the code. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about both of these clubs. The Chargers enter as the 5th seed. There are 6 teams in each of the conferences, the AFC and the NFC. Today we will see 2 games from the AFC. Actually, we haven't scheduled the other game. That is the New Orleans Voodoo against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm sure they'll schedule that one soon. This is game 3 out of 4. The San Diego Chargers, again, coached by Paul Mankiewicz, they are the 5th seed. There are 4 wild card teams seeded 3 through 6. The Chargers are the 5th seed. The Bears are the 4th seed. The interesting story about this game, first of all, the Chargers did make the playoffs last year. The Bears did not. Easy to understand considering they had a 1-15 record. So an outstanding turnaround season for Luke Delfume, who turns a 1-15 team into a 12-4 team in just one season. So congratulations to Luke. And often when teams make that bigger run between one year and another, there usually is an impact player that either is traded or is drafted. And in this case, he was drafted. It was running back Ezekiel Elliott. And what a difference Zeke makes. 366 carries on the year, 1,700 yards, far and away a classic workhorse back. And he carried him all the way to a 12-4 record. A lot of youthful talent on this team, not the least of which is their signal caller, which is Marcus Mariota, who he has a couple of other targets here to throw to, including Odell Beckham, who, of course, was injured this year. So we don't know what kind of card he's going to have next year. 85 catches for 1,100 yards. Emmanuel Sanders also pitched in with 69 catches. The Chargers have more of a ball control offense. They are led by quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who, get this, 1,000 yards rushing for the season. Only 44% completions, but 1,000 yard rushing. In fact, they were the only team of the 30-team Autumn Wind League to have 2 rushers with 1,000 yards. His teammate, who had 1,250 yards, is Le'Veon Bell. He also had 500 yards receiving as well. But San Diego is definitely a ball control team. They're also a grinded out team on defense. They play a 4-3, and they have an excellent run defense. You don't see very many of those, to be perfectly honest. They have an excellent run defense, and their pass defense, interestingly, is average. On the plus side, they do have a defensive back who's rated a 6, and they also have a 0 in their secondary. So certainly that is a very, very interesting combination. They have given me the code, so we're going to jump in here. Okay, so they're having a little bit of computer problems here, so that'll give us a little bit more time to go through what we need to go through. So again, the San Diego Chargers 9-7, an excellent run defense, and just an average pass defense. They have 5 and 6s across their defensive line. And they're also very strong pass rushers, as we will see here momentarily. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We flip it over to the Bears. Again, 12-4 season for Luke Delfume, 11-win improvement from the previous season. So, of course, they find themselves in the playoffs. They have defensive ratings of good for run and good for pass. They also have 2 linebacker sixes, interestingly, again, in the secondary, just average defensive backs. So, again, Colin Kaepernick's going to have a little bit of trouble finding some success in the flats. He's probably going to have to throw a little bit for this game. You're facing a very solid defense, both run and pass, with the Bears. As far as strategy is concerned, the Bears. The Bears do like to run the ball. There's no question about that. They do like to run. They do have a solid quarterback in Marcus Mariota, but their bread is buttered on the ground. But when you're facing off against an excellent run defense, things could get a little sketchy. If Mariota has to put the ball up, he has to know that he is going to be facing an average pass defense. But on the other hand, he's also facing a torrential rush. San Diego this season, one of my key stats for this game that I had posted in the initial review, 52 quarterback sacks on the year, which is far and away the leader of this league. So while they may just have average help in the secondary, they more than make up for it with that very stout front line with lots and lots of sacks, 52 sacks. On the other hand, we have a very solid offensive line for the Bears with 7s and 6s and 5s on their their pass blocking ability, So they got a very strong offensive line. In fact, Marcus was only sacked 6 times this season. So I believe the key to this game, if there's going to be an upset, and again, there is a 3-win difference between these two clubs, Paul's going to have to get the heat on in this game. And again, when you're averaging a little bit under, about between 3 and 4 sacks a game, that's really a difference maker. So they're going to have to put the heat on pretty consistently against Marcus Mariota to make this thing happen. On the other hand, when you're facing an excellent run defense, you're going to be depending a lot on the card strength of Ezekiel Elliott. So you're going to have to hope for a lot of home rolls for Ezekiel, or will Luke decide to go for some passes, maybe even some flat passes that are going to negate the pass rushing skill set of the San Diego Chargers. So again, an interesting matchup. These are things that I have noticed, but I'm sure that leading up to this game, both of the clubs have scouted each other pretty significantly, and I'm sure that both will be ready, will have their game plans in place, and they'll let the dice take care of the rest. So we are waiting right now for, apparently Luke is having some computer problems, so we'll wait here just momentarily until he gets that settled, and then we will get a move on. So the action yesterday, just to do a quick review, I'm sure you've probably already seen the scores, but just in case, the Raiders came out on top of the visiting Carolina Panthers, and they will move on in the playoffs. In fact, we'll go visit the Autumn Wind website here. Well, we may not have to. Good. Let's see what we have here. Oh, hey, we've got a code. That's good. Well, we'll talk about that at the half if we have time, but the most important thing is the game, and let's move right into it. So I'm going to send him a note just to let him know that I'm in. Let's go back here to my YouTube channel and make sure everything is okay. And everything is okay. So both teams are going to join here momentarily. And that's Paul. And so I'm sure we'll hear from Luke here momentarily. So the two teams who are sitting on the sidelines waiting for the carnage of the last 2 playoff games here in the NFC, that would be the Dallas Cowboys at 14-1-1, coached by Mark LePage, and Dennis Crowley, who led his Seattle Seahawks to a perfect 16-0 record, the first time in Autumn Wind history. This is a 16-year league. I believe we were in our 17th year here, as a matter of fact, and I went through what is probably the best website of all the leagues, hands down, this one is one of the most comprehensive. And I went back and back and back, and I could not find anything that suggested that anyone else was able to put together a season quite like Dennis Crowley. But he, like everybody else on the forum, had mentioned, and rightly so, that 16-0 is nice, but the Uber Bowl championship is what matters. He is the defending Uber Bowl champion, and so today his club is going to be facing off against either the winner of this Chargers and Bears game or the Philadelphia Eagles and New Orleans Voodoo. The Voodoo are the 6th seed. The Eagles are the 3rd seed. The Bears are the 4th seed, and they will today be hosting the San Diego Chargers, who are the 5th seed. On the forum, I had placed a 7-point line, giving the Bears 7 points, basically, or excuse me, they're handing this Chargers 7 points. I have a 7-point line on this game and a 41-point over-under. So again, congratulations yesterday to the National Football Conference wildcard winners, and that included the St. Louis Rams, who had a wild turnover-filled game, defensive battle against the Miami Dolphins. So they went on the road and pulled off the upset, winning 14-9. And also the Oakland Raiders pulled off a 7-point victory. I believe that score was 28-21. So Tim Bowler and Gary Nagata will move on. And on the forum, they have it posted who's playing who. The Houston Texans, Nathan Baylor is the coach for that club, and Lawrence Green is the coach for the San Francisco 49ers. It's on the forum as to who is playing who. So we have some spectators who are in the forum right now, and we're waiting for everybody to join. It should be here relatively soon. I'll get on my phone here and see if I can get some more details on who is going to be playing in those playoffs. So by virtue of their win, well, come on, load. That's St. Louis Rams, and then we've got the Oakland Raiders. That score was correct, 28-21. Have to wait for this website to load. And of course, today, I'm sure that everybody is well aware of the Super Bowl taking place between the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots, 6:30 today in Minneapolis. And we are underway in this autumn wind wildcard game, and San Diego will start out after a nice 30-yard return from Jeff Janis. They will have the ball at their own 35. So they will start the first half with the ball, and the Bears will have it after halftime. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. I hope everybody enjoys this broadcast. It's been fun these last couple of games, and I look forward to this matchup as well between the number 4 and number 5 seed in the AFC. And on the first play from scrimmage, here comes Le'Veon Bell up the middle. Gets strong by the defense, and he picks up 5 on the play. So an off-tackle right run for Le'Veon Bell nets him 5 yards. So as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Bears have a good run rating and a good pass rating. So solid defense all around. They have a couple of linebacker 6s, middle and left linebacker. Here comes Marquise Goodwin. Okay, this was a pass play that was called, and the defense has double-teamed Le'Veon Bell. So 3 men in the zone to Marquise Goodwin, and he's unable to make the play. A guest right card for Marquise Goodwin. Not very solid, 6, 10, 11, and 12. So not a very good card. So guessed correctly. We now find ourselves 3rd and 5. And so this will be the first opportunity, although it is only 5 yards. Let's see how aggressive Paul is going to be. Again, his Chargers, 52 sacks on the year. By contrast, the Bears only allowed 6, so Mariota stayed upright. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Colin Kaepernick. Good grief. I'm going backwards here. Let's wait till Chicago gets the ball before we start bragging about their offensive line. So 3rd down and 5. Here's Delaney Walker. So this is Colin Kaepernick's second pass attempt. And the play was guessed wrong. So that's an interesting call on the defense, and he's actually bailed out. The pass falls incomplete. This is a ball control offense. Colin Kaepernick only completed 44% of his passes actually this year. So I think it's understandable that Luke would call run on that play and dare Colin Kaepernick to beat him through the air. In that case, he was unable to. So on 4th down, they will punt. So a 3 and out for Paul Mankiewicz and his San Diego Chargers. And here come the Bears. A fair catch called by Odell Beckham. After a nice punt that puts the ball at the 15, so deep in their own territory, Chicago will take over for their first possession of the contest. And again, they are led by young rising star Marcus Mariota under center. And of course, behind him, the rookie of the year for Autumn Wind, 1,700 yards on the ground, Ezekiel Elliott. And he's going to start right away with an off-tackle run. Defense calls pass, plays guessed wrong, and Elliott winds up with 7 yards. So a nice first pickup on their first play from scrimmage. We're just underway here in this Autumn Wind wildcard game between the 12-4 Chicago Bears, coached by Luke Delfume, taking on Paul Half-Man, Half-Mankiewicz, 9-7 San Diego Chargers. This is the first of 2 AFC wildcard games. 2 tight end sets for Chicago. The Chargers are calling run, and they're keying Elliott, which obviously is going to be guessed wrong. So this should be something good, and it is. It's Emmanuel Sanders. He is able to pick up 11 yards on the flat pass. And the first down of the game belongs to the Chicago Bears. They have the ball at their 33. We've just played 3 minutes here in the first quarter. Prime targets. Odell Beckham, 1,100 yards on the season, 85 catches. Emmanuel Sanders, 69 catches. Of strong, deep threat. On 1st down, Ezekiel Elliott runs it, but he's brought down in the backfield for a loss of 1. It was guessed wrong, 3rd consecutive guessed wrong for San Diego, but this time they catch a break and they pull down Ezekiel Elliott behind the backfield. So now we have a 2nd down at 11. You look at that defensive alignment, you see a 6, a 6, a 5, and a 5. Very stout front line, but a relatively weak linebacker set. Here's a pass, and it goes for 4 yards. So we'll have 3rd down and 7. Joe, you okay? They do. They've been over here. Okay. I'm broadcasting a game right now, but yeah, everything's fine. They've been over here. Okay. Thanks, man. All right, we're going to jump right back into it. That's my brother. This is Super Bowl Sunday. He's coming down to my house, big Super Bowl party, as I'm sure a lot of you all are having as well. So on 3rd down, here comes a screen pass to Ezekiel Elliott. White dice 6 roll. Elliott's going to pick this one up and get 10 yards. So the second first down for the Bears. Back to the 2 tight end set. Looks like that's what they pretty much run pretty consistently for this club. Williams and Tofolio are more pass blocking tight ends than they are receiving tight ends. Here comes a deep pass to Odell Beckham. Guessed wrong, not only that, but short yardage, and that one is going to go for a big gainer. Mariota hits Beckham deep. He's going to the 30, the 20, the 10, 5. He is in the end zone, so the Bears strike first. So the fear of Ezekiel Elliott. San Diego rolls the dice, goes short yardage, which basically leaves the deep pass completely vulnerable, and the Bears make them pay in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter. So first blood is drawn in a very dramatic way on a deep pass from Mariota to Odell Beckham. And just like that, the Bears strike first, and they're up 7-0 in this Autumn Wind playoff game. So let's see if San Diego and Mankiewicz can answer. That was a deep kick, and we're waiting for the decision, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe we are blocked, or excuse me, if we are maybe locked up. Wow. Boy, things are locked up tighter than a drum. Wow, nothing has happened. I'm sure this isn't taking this long to make a decision. So we are stuck. And I'm not going to wait around. I'm going to jump right back in. I am blocked out. So we're going to jump right back in. I'm going to close out, get right back into this game. So the Bears are on the scoreboard first. They're up 7-0. San Diego now has the ball deep in their own territory. We will rejoin. And as soon as we rejoin, we find out that Paul was only able to move the ball 5 yards on 3 plays. So immediately they're going to have to punt, and they will do so. And that ball is fumbled. That ball is fumbled, and San Diego is not able to recover. The Bears recover, and there's another fumble, and the Bears recover that as well. So Beckham fumbled the ball, and then he fumbled the ball once again, but he is able to recover 2 consecutive fumbles. So big time break for the Bears. That's the turnover San Diego needed. Again, San Diego is very much a ball control offense. This is not a club that can go down too many points. So I know it's early, but this is an important drive for them to stop. And that's off to a good start as Elliott is pulled down in the backfield for a loss of 1. On their last drive, Mankiewicz really sold out for the run, called short yardage, and short yardage on Ezekiel Elliott, and that left them very vulnerable to an over-the-top throw from Mariota to Odell Beckham for the game's first score. Interesting call from Mankiewicz, considering he has an excellent run defense, which already is solid in itself. So we'll see if he tries to pull a stunt like that again. Here comes a run. This one is for Marcus Mariota. He's going to go right into that teeth of the defense, and he's going to pick up 10 yards. Again, when it's on your card, you catch the breaks. But when you're going to be on Paul's card, not very many breaks to be had. So third down, 6:54 here in the first quarter. Third down and 1. Full house backfield with a very strong Eddie Lacy card. Nice backup to have. So there's 3 running options. Paul would be hard-pressed to key somebody here. A coin only has 2 sides, and there's 3 options. So probably going to need some luck of the draw as opposed to trying to key somebody. Here comes Ezekiel Elliott. In fact, it's a good thing he didn't, because that's a pass. He does call short yardage run. So this pass is going to be, well, how about that? Because he kept 2 men in the zone on a button hook, the pass falls incomplete. So great call from Paul Mankiewicz. He called short yardage defense, but with 2 men in the zone. And that's because they have, with the full house backfield, the free safety automatically moves into that zone. So it turned out to be a break for Paul. And it looks like we're frozen again. I think I'm going to have to turn off animation. I believe that's what's going on here. So I have to see what happens when Paul has the ball. Sorry about this, everybody. Super annoying. And this is Colin Kaepernick's first must run. At least it's the first one that I've seen, and that's a big gainer. 20 yards for Colin Kaepernick. And so from the shadow of their own end zone, starting out this drive at the 14, now they find themselves at their own 34, trailing 7-0 with 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. That was Kaepernick's first run. And here comes a deep pass to Marquise Goodwin. It's guessed wrong. That pass is going to fall incomplete. Not a bad guessed wrong deep card for Colin Kaepernick. With completions 2 through 5 and a receiver reading there on the 6. So you roll a low roll, you've got a very decent chance to get a nice pickup on that card. Here comes a pass to Delaney Walker. He's double teamed on the play, and the pass falls incomplete. So second down now turns into third down. Ball at their own 34. They've not had a lot of success moving the ball this half. The biggest play is a Colin Kaepernick must-run 20-yard pickup. Chargers trailing 7-0 to the Chicago Bears, coached by Luke Delfume. The winner moves on in the divisional playoffs next week. 2 tight end set. That's Charles Clay along with Delaney Walker. Here comes a pass to Charles Clay. No double team on the play. 4-man in the zone. Guessed right. The result will be on Kaepernick's card. He's going to run again. This time he's going to be stopped short. He's only going to pick up 7 yards on the play. Ball at their own 41. Paul is likely to punt this one away, and he will do so. So the Chargers will turn the ball over for their third consecutive drive. They've not made it beyond the 50-yard line. So good defense exhibited so far by the Bears with a good run defense and a good pass defense. 45-yard punt. Here comes Odell Beckham, who fumbled the last time, but was able to recover his own fumble. In fact, he fumbled twice on his last return. That's his third return. That's his third attempted return, 2 fair catches, and, of course, a fumble on his last one. So now we go back with the 2 tight end set. Ezekiel Elliott, the single back behind Mariota. Here comes a quick out to Odell Beckham. White die 6 rule, 13-yard pickup for Beckham. So far, 2 catches, 67 yards, including that last catch that went for 54 yards in the game's first touchdown. So Mariota so far pretty sharp, 5 for 6 for 92 yards and 1 touchdown. And here comes a pass rush, and he is sacked. And so the Chargers decided to go up top once again for Odell Beckham, but this time they pay for it with a sack. And that's a big loss of 10 on the play. He's sacked by Cameron Wake, who Paul had dealt with me, head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, early in the season. He dealt a first-round pick for him. He's a 5-rated defensive lineman with a very strong pass rush. So I'm glad he's paying off dividends. I traded him for tackle Ronnie Stanley. So let's hope that trade works out for both parties. Here comes a quick out to follow. I'm sorry, I don't know the pronunciation of that gentleman's name. Maybe Telefolo. That pass is going to fall harmlessly to the turf. So now 3rd and 20. And again, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, San Diego Chargers, 52 sacks on the year. This seems like a primo time to bring some heat. He has a 0 rated race, Jerry Hughes, but again, he's got a 10 10 pass rush rating. So let's see if he's on his way. Of course, that would leave Ezekiel Elliott open. Does he just play it conservative here? No, he is bringing the house. So here comes a pass to Emmanuel Sanders. 4 men in the zone. That pass is over the middle. It's tipped and it's going to be intercepted. It's picked off. So San Diego comes up with their own interception. And now they're deciding, hopefully they're deciding, and they're not stuck again. It looks like we're stuck again. Well, I apologize. I'm really having a difficult time with this. I think I'm just going to have to turn off the animation because I am locked out again. Well, somebody doesn't want me to watch this game, apparently. I'm having a really rough time. This is the 4th time, I believe, now that I've been kicked out. So something is acting squirrely. Okay, now we've jumped back into live action. And that was Le'Veon Bell who picked up 5 on the play, and that will give us a first down. So the Chargers are on their way to putting some points on the board. Okay, we're going to turn off animation and see if that works. So there was a fumble on the play. Colin Kaepernick fumbled the ball on the snap, and Zach Brown has recovered. And now the Bears are going to take over. So a tough break for Paul Mankiewicz. I surely hope those still doesn't take away from the game. I'm just sick of this being kicked out of this game every 2 minutes. I've turned off the animation to see if that's going to make a difference, but I'm afraid it's really going to hurt the play-by-play. But Colin Kaepernick had a fumbled snap and has now turned the ball back over to the Bears, who are leading 7-0 in this contest. That was Ezekiel Elliott, and he is pulled down behind the line of scrimmage for 2 yards. So Zeke is off to quite the slow start, 4 carries for 3 yards. Chargers have done a nice job of containing him. And we now have 2nd down as we've just started into the 2nd quarter. So at the end of 1, the Bears, 12-4, trying to advance to the divisional playoff round of the AFC, are leading Paul Mankiewicz and his San Diego Chargers 7-0. The Bears have the ball on their own 15, and that is a pickup of 5 yards for Ezekiel Elliott on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 5, a manageable 3rd and 5, once again negating the very lethal pass rush that belongs to the San Diego Chargers, 52 sacks on the year. Mariota was only sacked 6 times this season. He's already been sacked once this game by Cameron Wake. So 3rd down and 5, 2 tight end sets for the Bears. And this is going to be a pitch out to Ezekiel Elliott. No linebackers in the zone, and Elliott will pick up 6 on the play. So he will pick up the first down. Again, that's going against conventional wisdom against a team with an excellent run defense, but he decides that Ezekiel Elliott would be a stronger option than putting the ball in the air. And he was kind of lucky because it was on the defensive card. Here comes a sideline pass. There's nobody in the zone to Emmanuel Sanders, so this should be a nice pickup, and it is for 10 yards. Mankiewicz elected to make a run at Ezekiel Elliott once again. But that was a pass play, 10 yards, and another first down. Ball at the 37 for the Bears. They're up 7-0 in this divisional playoff game. The Bears were 1-15 last season. They were able to win 12 this year. Here's an inside run for Ezekiel Elliott. Defense calls pass, double teams one of their tight ends. But Elliott is only able to pick up 2. He has a chunky run card. As you can see, you roll a 2, you get a 55. A 4 gets you a short gain. 11 gets you a 20, and a 12 gets you 30. But you would hope for some bigger gains there on the guessed wrongs. But I guess 5, 4, and 5, and 6 is not so bad. Here's another off-tackle run for Ezekiel Elliott. It's guessed right this time, and this time he stopped for no gain. So that'll bring up 3rd down and 8 for the Bears. Paul wants to get Luke and his Bears off the field. Big 3rd down. Let's see what kind of heat San Diego's going to bring. Bears choose to go 3 wide, so now we are seeing Arterell Hawkins in the game. Elliott still stays in. That's Ladarius Green at tight end. And here's who he's going to, Ladarius Green. There's one man in the zone. Let's see which zone he's picking on. A quick slant, a short gain on Marcus Mariota's card. That'll be a 15-yard pickup and another first down. So this is the first true time that the Bears have marched into Chargers territory. Their lone score came on their side of the 50-yard line on a deep pass, 54 yards from Mariota to the great Odell Beckham. And that's how they're up 7-0, but they're grinding out a nice drive here, coming on the heels of a fumble from Colin Kaepernick. That's a flat pass to to Odell Beckham, but this time he's hauled down for a loss of 3. So San Diego's done a fine job of keeping Chicago at bay. They've had a number of either zero or loss plays. But second down usually has been the trouble for them, as they've been able to get some nice yards on second down and made the third downs a little bit more manageable. Here's a pitch out to Ezekiel Elliott. It's guessed wrong. But again, against this excellent defensive card, you're not expecting much. And he is guessed wrong, pulled down 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Just needed a defensive end card rating of 5 or lower, and he got that. And so even when he's guessed wrong, Ezekiel Elliott loses big time, 4 yards on that play. And that'll bring up 3rd down. And 17. So expect Paul to bring some major heat on this play. 3 wide set for the Bears. Again, Arterell Hawkins is in the game, and there's Odell Beckham on the outside. He's guarded by a 6. Emmanuel Sanders is guarded by a 4. So on 3rd and 17, Paul brings the heat. There's a linebacker in that zone. That's a toss play to Ezekiel Elliott, and he is stopped at the line for no gain. So they will turn the ball over. So Mankiewicz's strong run defense card definitely comes into play. Well, I think I'm starting to figure out what's going on here. Every time the ball is turned over between clubs, yeah, that's exactly what's happening. Every time the ball is turned over between these two clubs, when a punt goes from the Bears to the Chargers, for whatever reason, it keeps kicking me out. So we'll just have to get in the habit of just jumping back in. Okay, we've jumped back in. We've missed a play. Unfortunately, that was a end run for Colin Kaepernick. We've turned the animation back on. This time he stopped at the line of scrimmage, so he did miss a play. And it's now 3rd and 17 for the Chargers, who trail 7-0 to the Chicago Bears. Strong defenses on both, and right now it is a defensive struggle. One lone touchdown. Mariota deep pass to Odell Beckham. That's all the scoring we have. 8:24 to go in the second quarter. 3rd and 17. These are not manageable situations for the Chargers. Colin Kaepernick only completed 44% of his passes this year. So it's tough to figure they're going to convert on this play, but let's see what happens. And this is going to be a deep pass to Delanie Walker. There is one man in the zone. He is a 4. And Walker comes up with the catch, a white die 6. So there is some vulnerability at free safety for the Bears, and the Chargers were able to exploit it. So on 3rd down and 17, not the most manageable situation. They come up with a 27-yard pass to tight end Delanie Walker, and they have now moved the chains for a 1st down. The Chargers have not made their way into Bears territory in this entire game. They're looking to do it right now. There's another pass. This one's to Delanie Walker, and for the first time in their game, they have made their way into Chicago territory. Ball at the 48, 7 minutes to go here in the second quarter. The Chargers trail the Bears 7-0 in this autumn wind wildcard playoff. The winner moves on to either face the Seattle Seahawks or the Dallas Cowboys. Here's a pitch to Le'Veon Bell. It's guessed right, but he's able to pick up 3 on the play. 2nd down and 7. Paul Mankiewicz, 9-7, the 5th seed of the AFC. Mankiewicz had to get a move on in the second half to get that team to 9-7. In fact, it looked early on that there was a chance that an 8-8 team could have snuck into the playoffs in the AFC, but the New Orleans Voodoo and the San Diego Chargers both were able to get some wins down the stretch. And there is a must run for Colin Kaepernick, but he's not able to pick up any yards on the play. So 3rd down and 7. That's an interesting card. You look at the must runs on short passes, 7, 8, and 9, and he got a 12. And I don't often see must runs on a 12, or at least I don't remember very many. But Colin Kaepernick, again, he's a running quarterback, no doubt. 1,000 yards rushing this season. Here comes an end run to Colin Kaepernick. Defense guesses pass and double teams Charles Clay, tight end. So no linebackers in the zone, but he's caught and dwarfed in the backfield, so a loss of 2. So with the ball at the 47 and 4th and 9, San Diego decides to play field position. They're going to go ahead and punt it. They're going to try to kick this thing deep, and they do, and the ball goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. So while San Diego's not able to score, they did drive the Bears deep into their own territory, and they've played an excellent game so far defensively. 7-0 Chicago over San Diego. 5 minutes to go here in the first half. 2 tight end set again. They're not pass catching tight ends. They're run blocking tight ends. 5s on each side. Here's a pass to Odell Beckham. Again, the Chargers key on Ezekiel Elliott. And that's a pickup of 10. Just interesting decision-making here. They're so strong defensively with that excellent defensive card. 6-6-5-5 across the middle, across the front line, and still they're deciding to try to run key Ezekiel Elliott. Just a curious decision. Elliott isn't exactly burning it up here in the first half. And now Mankiewicz calls pass and double team Sanders, and of course Ezekiel Elliott's going to run. He picks up 4 on the play. Again, an excellent defensive card. Excellent rating defensive card for the Chargers' run defense. Their pass defense is just average. That's a beautiful card. Not very much room to roam on that San Diego defensive card. Here's another run to Elliott, and he is able to pick up another 4. Same roll, as a matter of fact. So now it's 3rd and 2 for the Bears. Up 7-0. 3:36 to go here in the first half. They will get the ball at the second half. This is going to be a pass for Ladarius Green. The defense calls short yardage, but that free safety is going to move into that zone, but in this case, it's not going to matter, and that's a pickup of 10. So Ladarius Green with another catch. That's 10 yards for him. And with 3 minutes to play here in the first half, the Bears are up 7-0, have the ball at their own 37. They do have all 3 of their timeouts here in the half. This is going to be a quick pass to Emmanuel Sanders. Defense guesses pass on the play. There is one linebacker in the zone, and Sanders makes the catch, but it's only for 4 yards. Second down and 6 for the Bears. They choose not to call timeout. 2:24 remaining. They're closing in on midfield. 2 tight end offense, 4-3 counter. 4-0-4 in those flat pass zones. Defense guesses pass, goes for Odell Beckham, and now Ezekiel Elliott is going to run, and this is going to be a nice gain for him, 12 yards. Past midfield all the way to the 47-yard line, and that should take us, let's see, calls timeout to the 2-minute warning. Oh, he does call timeout. Nice play. I like that strategy. I do that all the time so I can get an extra freebie, a free play before the 2-minute warning. So good clock management from Luke Delfume. 2:06 before the half. Leading 7-0. Ball at the Chargers 47. The Bears were the 4th seed at 12-4. There's a run for Ezekiel Elliott, but he stopped for no gain. Elliott so far, 14 carries, but only 34 yards. So as expected, a very stout run defense for the Chargers. They've not disappointed. They've really held him in check. Only one big play in the game. Of course, that was Marcus Mariota's first quarter touchdown pass, deep pass to Odell Beckham, 54 yards. It's the game's only score. We're at the 2-minute warning. Haven't seen too many looks from the Bears. A 3-wide set, but for the most part, this is what we've seen, the 2 tight end set. Mankiewicz is bringing the house on this play. They did get past, and they are bringing everybody. A square in with nobody in the zone. And that'll be a pickup of 4. Beckham is able, I believe, to make it out of bounds. Yes, he does. No, I'm sorry, he does not. But the Bears elect not to call timeout. 1:30 to go here in the half. Ball at the 43-yard line. Now they come in their 3-wide set, and they replace the 2 tight ends with pass-catching tight end Ladarius Green. Elliott stays in the backfield. That's Artrell Hawkins as the slot receiver. Third down and 6. Another pass to Ladarius Green. The defense is double teaming Emmanuel Sanders. The play is guessed right, and Mariota is able to make the connection, but it's only a pickup of 5. So here comes one of the early plays of the game. With the ball at the 38, the Bears are going to go for it with a minute to play, risking, if they don't get this, they're going to have poor field position, or they're going to be handing excellent field position basically to the San Diego Chargers. If they pick this up, they do have 2 timeouts remaining. They're nearing field goal range. Ball at the 38. Full house backfield. So it's going to be tough to pass out of this offense. But again, there's 3 running options for this club. And it's a run for Eddie Lacy, one linebacker in the zone. And he's hauled down in the backfield. So that clearly backfires for the Bears. That's the thing about that full house. You know, you definitely pick up some run blocking with that. But there's a few disadvantages to it. Of course, number one, the defense knows that you're going to run. And when you have an excellent defensive card like Paul has, he's just going to let the dice do the talking. There's not really much he needs to do in a case like that. Plus, if it's a pass, the free safety can move directly into that zone. But Luke is unlucky on that play as Lee Lacy, the former Pittsburgh Pirate. No, we're talking about Eddie Lacy, is hauled down the backfield for a 1-yard loss. And now Paul takes over at his own 39. But he's got to get moving here. Here comes a deep pass to Charles Clay. Kaepernick looking over the middle. Clay catches it. Clay is at the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. So just like that, the Chargers have tied up the score on one play. Colin Kaepernick finds Charles Clay, his tight end, deep for a 61-yard pass, and with the extra point, what looked to be a Bears halftime lead has now been erased, and the score is now knotted at 7. So Mankiewicz and his Chargers with the big stop on 4th down and 1, and they parlay that into a 61-yard touchdown scoring toss from Colin Kaepernick to tight end Charles Clay. And with 37 seconds to go in the half, we're knotted at 7. So the Bears will take over at their own 25. Let's see how aggressive they're going to be before half. I'm sure that Luke is stinging from 2 consecutive downer plays. Let's see how aggressive he's going to be, or if he's just going to try to just take this lead into the half and not risk a turnover. They do have the ball at the 25, but it's going to take some big plays to get anywhere close to scoring position. Three wide set for the Bears. Chargers counter 3-3-5. Here comes an off-tackle run to Ezekiel Elliott. Gets strong by the defense. And he's going to be hauled down for a 1-yard loss. So San Diego has all 3 of their timeouts left. Let's see if they choose to do something with this. Well, somebody called timeout. And it was the defense. It was Paul. Both clubs have 2 timeouts. I didn't know who called timeout. So 2nd down and 11. And sometimes I wonder if this strategy is playing with fire. Maybe Paul should be happy that he got that 61-yard touchdown just before the half and say, don't worry about it. Especially when you got Ezekiel Elliott. Oh, wow, they're bringing the house in. There's nobody in the zone to Emmanuel Sanders. And it's going to, oh my gosh, it's going to be a big-time gain. Wow. Unbelievable turn of events. So Mankiewicz goes for broke and brings everybody, I mean, literally everybody, leaving the long pass zone empty, and Emmanuel Sanders burns them. And with 22 seconds to go, now it's the Bears calling timeout, of course, and they do have 1 remaining. So a nice call, a daring call by Luke Delfume, and it looks like it's going to pay off, and it's going to give him the lead once again, either a decent chance at a field goal, certainly. But with 22 seconds to go and 1 timeout left, there's still some time to do some damage and maybe find his way to pay dirt. Here's Ladarius Green. Again, another pass to his pass-catching tight end from Mariota. That pass is going to fall incomplete, so that'll give us 15 seconds to go. Wow, what a daring call. We've had 2 back-to-back long passes that are certainly changing the complexion of this game. One gave the Bears the early lead. The next one gave the Chargers the tie, and now we have a third. We don't know what kind of impact that's going to make, but it clearly looks like it's going to give the Bears a halftime lead unless something totally crazy happens here. Ball at the Chargers 16-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Three wide set. Again, Ladarius Green, their tight end. He's had a nice first half. Mariota so far 14 for 18, 207 yards and a touchdown, courtesy of two big gains. That's why his yardage is up, but wow. Mankiewicz dials up the blitz, and his team delivers. So that'll make it 3rd and 19. That sack came courtesy of Fletcher Cox. So that's their second sack, and the Bears are not going to take any more chances. They do not have any timeouts remaining. So they're going to try to kick this field goal. It's not a gimme. It's a 42-yarder. And it's Robbie Gould. And Gould is good as gold. He puts it through the uprights. And that will give the Bears the lead at 10-7 when 1 second to play. Here comes a squib kick, which isn't going to go anywhere. So that's going to be your halftime. So an entertaining first half with 3 monster passes. 3 big-time passes in this contest, and that's basically shaped the score that we have now. It's the Bears 10 and the San Diego Chargers 7. So they've elected to move forward with the second half without a break, so we won't look at the stats for now. But we'll follow him in the box in the top right-hand corner with the so far today. So again, to review, this is the Autumn Wind Wildcard Playoff. This is the first of 2 AFC tilts, and it features the 12-4 Chicago Bears, who are the number 4 seed in their American Football Conference, facing off against the 5th seed San Diego Chargers. The Chargers were 9-7 this year. They made the playoffs last year. The Bears were 1-15 last year, so needless to say, they did not make the playoffs. Turned it around this year with a 12-win season. Their big pickup, Ezekiel Elliott, 1,700 yards on the ground for the season. And, of course, they have a young rising star in Marcus Mariota. So the future definitely looks bright in Chicago. So that first play was an Ezekiel Elliott run for 8 yards. And here's a pass to Odell Beckham, which is caught. And that'll move the chains for a first down. Even though he was double-teamed, he was able to haul that pass in for 6 yards for a first down for the Bears, who are up 10-6 as we're just starting the third quarter. 10-7, excuse me, as we're just starting the third quarter. 2 tight end set, which is what we've seen pretty much for the majority of this game for the Bears. 2 excellent run-blocking tight ends. So Ezekiel Elliott has all sorts of different directions that he can go. Here's a screen pass to Ezekiel Elliott. It's guessed right. And he's once again hauled down behind the line of scrimmage, a 3-yard loss for Elliott. It's now 2nd down and 13. And here is an end run for Mariota, but it's going to be on the defensive card, and that means it's not going to go very far. So a 1-yard pickup on the play for Mariota, 3rd down and 12. One wonders if the question is whether or not Paul will blitz here, but how many people is he going to blitz? 52 sacks on the year. He's had 2 big sacks in this game so far. But when you live by the sword, sometimes you die by the sword. And the long pass from Mariota to Emmanuel Sanders that led to the last-second first-half field goal was courtesy of that same blitz. No free safety in the zone, which is a 5. It's a very strong free safety. So we'll see how daring Paul is on this play, or if he's willing to just say, try to get those 12 yards. Three wide set. Ladarius Green has been very strong in this first half, and Paul double teams him on the play, and this time they're going to Odell Beckham. So a nice call from the Bears. They've gone to Ladarius Green enough for Paul to respect him with a double team. They leave single coverage on Odell Beckham, but it doesn't come through. Wow. You would think that Odell Beckham would have a little bit stronger a card on guest right, but he doesn't. And on a roll of 7, the pass falls incomplete. Now, I have been blocked every time on this punt play, so I have to go ahead and get ready to get kicked out, and that's what I'll do. Just make a mental note every time there's going to be a punt from the Bears to San Diego that I'm going to have to go through this ritual over and over again. It's an interesting glitch. But if I get in the habit of it, I won't have to take too much time getting into it each time and won't miss too many plays. Okay, so let's pick it up here. Ball at the 38 for the San Diego Chargers, who trail 10-7. And here's a screen pass to Le'Veon Bell, who's had a very quiet day. Not very many carries for Le'Veon. White dice 6 roll, no man in the zone. Play is guessed wrong anyway. Oh, bad break. The only possible incomplete pass. Rolls a 9. Nice call from Paul, just a poor break. I'm sure he'll remember that one, but take the good with the bad. I'm sure his luck will come back around. 2nd down and 10. Ball at their own 38. San Diego, Paul Mankiewicz, 9-7 club. Longtime Stratomatic veteran against Luke Delfume. The comeback kid, 1-15 last year for the Bears, 12-4 this season. Good young talent on that club. Colin Kaepernick is going to take off from the pocket, but he's only able to pick up 1 on the play. I wouldn't know whether or not to call this a chunky card or not. That's just such a strong card, but once you get to 9, 10, 11, and 12, you're going to start losing some yards. Almost everything on that must run is a good pickup, but again, bad break for Paul. Only 1 yard on the play, so now it's 3rd down and 9 for the Chargers. Just under 10 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter of this Autumn Wind wildcard playoff game. Here's a pass to Charles Clay, and they're double teaming him, so this pass is going to fall incomplete. And a 3 and out, so the Bears have to be very pleased with that. And here comes a punt. This one is going to go to Odell Beckham, who fumbled earlier in the game, but was able to recover his own fumble and avert disaster. He's able to pick up a nice little gain of 11 on the play, so the the Bears will take back over on their 29-yard line. 9:18 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Bears are up 10-7. That's 5 punts so far for San Diego. Only 1 score, and it was just before the half, when San Diego was able to turn the Bears over on a 4th and 1 play. And on the next play, Colin Kaepernick hit Charles Clay deep for a 61-yard touchdown that tied the game. But with only 1 minute to play, the Bears returned the favor on another deep pass, this time Mariota to Emmanuel Sanders, that netted them a field goal with 1 second to go before the half. Here's a run for Elliott. He is keyed on this play, and he's going to be stopped in the backfield for a loss of 2. Nice call by Paul. Again, he brings the house. He leaves the linebackers completely vulnerable, but on that play, he guessed it and guessed it right. So he's trying to do some extra damage. He doesn't even want Elliott to get anything on either one of the cards. It's just kind of dangerous when you call pass, but in this case, it worked out. So third down, ball 27. These are not the easy third downs. And let's see if Paul brings some heat. In this case, he doesn't. He leaves all of his linebackers in their zone. This is a pass to Emmanuel Sanders, and this one is caught and for a first down. So a nice play, a good break for Luke, as there were very few options to complete that first down on Mariota's card, but he just happened to hit it, a 14-yard pickup, move the chains. Ball at the 41. As we're nearing the midway point of the third quarter, Chicago ahead 10-7. Low-scoring affair so far. There's a quick pass to Odell Beckham. It's guessed wrong, and Beckham is going to haul this one in and pick up another first down. So 11 yards as they cross midfield for the first time this half. Two tight end set again. Two tight end set for the Bears. This is another quick pass to Odell Beckham. There is a linebacker in that zone, and he's going to pick up only a yard. Interception chance on that play. 2 through 4, 11, and 12 did not come up. So 2nd and 9. Again, ball at the 47-yard line. As we're here in the third quarter, Chargers up 10-7. Luke Delfume trying to advance to the AFC Autumn Wind divisional playoffs. Here's an end run for Marcus Mariota. It's guessed wrong. If it's on his card, he's got some good news, but there's a linebacker in that zone, so bad news. This is going to lose some yards. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, he lurches forward and gets a yard on the play, but it's still 3rd down and 8. So nice call from Paul. He did have a linebacker in the zone, even though he called pass. Again, tough to run on this card, even if there isn't a linebacker in the zone. So 3rd down and 8. Will Paul leave his linebackers at home on what could be a flat pass situation, or is he going to bring some more heat thinking a short pass is on its way? Does Luke try to run Marcus Mariota again? He doesn't. Actually, he does. Mariota decides I'm going to run myself. And in fact, he's going to pick up a first down, a 10-yard pickup on the play. So on the short pass, he gets a must-run 7. And again, the Bears are able to sustain this drive as they're getting closer and closer to field goal range. Ball at the 36. 5:24 here in the third quarter. Bears up 10-7. Same old, two tight end set for the Chargers. And this is guessed wrong. Defense guesses run. It's going to be a pass to Odell Beckham, but there's 2 men in the zone. So Paul hedged his bets on that play, moved one of the linebackers out of his button hook zone. He called run, and he still had 2 men in the zone, so Odell Beckham only picks up 1 yard on the play. Good strategy from Paul Mankiewicz. Just hedge those bets just a little bit. Here comes an inside run to Ezekiel Elliott right into that teeth of that defense. It's guessed wrong, and on Elliott's card, he picks up 6. So now the Bears are in field goal range for Robbie Gould. It'd be a 46-yarder, but he has a good leg, so definitely in scoring range. 3rd down and 3. Lots of options here. Lots of opportunity for a quick pass to at least 2 different receivers, unless he decides to go to one of those tight ends. He does not. Defense is double teaming Elliott. Does call pass. White die 6, 0 man in the zone. Beckham's going to pick up 9 on the play. And that's going to move the chains again. So now the ball is at the 20 for the Bears. 3.5 to play here in the third quarter. Bears are leading San Diego 10-7. The winner moves on to the divisional round to take on either the Dallas Cowboys 14-1-1, coached by Mark LePage, or Dennis Crowley 16-0. Inside run for Elliott, and this is short yardage defense. He's only able to pick up 2. Needed a big block from the center. He didn't get it. Needed a 6. His center is a 4. Oh, he's not. Maybe he's a 5. I'm sorry. Maybe I've misread that. Here comes a short pass to one of those blocking tight ends. To Lolo. White dice 6 again. No man in the zone. It is guessed right. He picks up 5 on the play. Yeah, his center is a 4. It's hard to see because Mariota's standing on top of him, but he is a 4, so that's why he didn't make that block on that previous play. So now we have 3rd down and 3. Ball at the 13. Flat pass obviously is still in play. Mariota 251 yards passing, 22 of 28. Sharp. 22 of 28 for 251 yards. He does have an interception. And, of course, he does have a touchdown, a bomb to Odell Beckham in the first half. Here's a pitch to Ezekiel Elliott. Guessed wrong. But the dreaded 5, homage, a tip of the cap to Tom Cook. The dreaded 5. And you'll get nothing for 5. And he is dropped. So this is going to lead to a field goal attempt that Robbie Gould is able to convert. It's a 30-yard field goal. So the Bears will go up another 3 points. Tack on that field goal. It's now 13-7. Sorry for the dead air, but I believe I've lost the signal again. Trying to get it back. Well, I'm having a hard time getting into this game at all. So I'm wondering if maybe I've been kicked out of this game every time Chicago either punts or kicks it to the Chargers, period. Now I can't get in at all, period. Have you guys restarted with a new code, question mark? Hmm. Wow, boy, this is really confusing now. Let's keep trying until we can get in there. I'm sorry we're missing this, everybody. Makes for a bad experience. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if maybe.
Second closest of anyone to play the ninth today with an approach. Brother Tim giving him.
I've been kicked out of the football game for some reason, and I keep trying to get in, and it's not letting me, period. Do you guys have to restart, question mark? I am really sorry, everybody, but for whatever reason, it is absolutely not letting me back in. Yeah, I just wonder if maybe the game is totally. Oh, they did restart. Is there a new code, question mark? Yeah, so that's what's happened. Yeah, I hate to interrupt these players during the game.
And of course, Tip Eagle.
So I'm waiting on a new code, so it wasn't just me. Actually, their game froze and they had to restart, period. But for whatever reason, I can't get in, period. I think there's a new code, but they've forgotten to give it to me and the spectators. I'm sorry for the long pause, but apparently there was a snag that hit both computers. So apparently this time it wasn't my fault. But I'm going to go ahead and do something here that Dennis um, had suggested as soon as we jump. Well, I guess I can't do it until I get a code. So we'll wait for this to happen. So I'm not exactly sure where we froze. So we'll just go to hold on tight until we get the code. And once we do, we'll jump back in and see what, if any, plays we missed. On the off chance that you're just joining us last night, just to review the results of the contest, St. Louis Rams are going to move forward in the in the NFC. St. Louis Rams and the Oakland Raiders both are going to move forward in the playoffs. The website basically has which teams are going to play who. I'm sorry I don't have access to that right now, but those were two excellent games yesterday, and we are still waiting for a fourth game to be scheduled between the New Orleans Voodoo and the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll just wait for this code to come our way. Okay. Boy, I tell you what, not trying to rant here, but this is a great game, but this is lousy. And I wish they would do something about this, because I've had so many of these broadcasts that have been torn up because of this. And yeah, there's some little tweaks that you could do to turn off animation and this and that, but I've just never seen a program this unstable. It's a great game, but it's ruined by things like this. And I don't know if it's because there's more spectators in it, because during the regular season, I can't remember any games that got locked up, and I'm in 3 leagues basically. And I just wonder if maybe it's because there's multiple people watching, and that would be a shame if that's the case, because I think these broadcasts are fun. And when Tom Cook was doing this a couple of years ago, it's actually what led me back into this game. So I'm very thankful that he and Dennis were able to put together some broadcasts of these games. They've also been nice enough to interview one of the bigwigs at Stratomatic, Glenn Guzzo, although I know I'm butchering his name, but he's one of the people who basically comes up with ratings every year. And Dennis and Tom have had the occasion to speak with him twice, and they're both terrific shows. Dennis comes on here pretty often and puts together some tips and pointers on how novice players can improve their game. There's a very, very strong community here. And one of the things we really enjoy doing, especially when the playoffs roll around, is to do spectator modes and to also broadcast these games. But it seems like this is when we run into the most problems, is when we have spectators and when we have somebody like me trying to broadcast these games. So it's pretty frustrating. But hopefully we'll get a code back here soon and jump back into it. And I really hope that me watching or broadcasting didn't have anything to do with this game having to stop at this point, although they did say they were having some computer programs early on. But we'll jump right back into this. And this is such a close contest, too. You don't want something like this to mar it. So just think of this as a rain delay or a lightning delay. So I'm going to keep a watch on the email, and we'll put the headphones down here, and we will join you momentarily. Those were two entertaining games yesterday. For different reasons, period. Okay, it looks like we finally have the action back up. I'll send him a quick note just to let him know I'm in. Keep this broadcast going. So I have to put in the comments section. So Dennis was suggesting that I turn off the dice animation. I'll do that real quick. There we go. Okay, we're waiting for everybody to jump back in. And it looks like they've gotten started. So I guess the easy way to do this is to say there's been no scoring since last we met. We are now officially in the fourth quarter, so let's go ahead and reset everything as it stands. The Bears have the ball at their own 41. It's second down and 6. They are leading 13-7. They were able to tack on a field goal in the third quarter, but that was part of this broadcast. After that, we've had some computer glitches, but we're back in it, so let's hope we have a fourth quarter that goes without some sort of crazy event that stops everything. Dennis asked me to turn off the animation on these rolling dice, tumbling dice, and let's see if that makes a difference as well. I've been cut out every time there's been a punt or a kick to the Chargers. So let's keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't happen again. Okay, so ball at the 45-yard line. Chicago has it. Excuse me, that's San Diego. What am I doing here? Oh, we're back. Oh, look at this. I see. I think Dennis had brought this to my attention. So the field has been flipped. Okay, so now San Diego is going in the other direction. So I got to get used to that. So San Diego has the ball. Let's try this again. Well, I'm just all turned around here. The Chargers are trailing the Bears 13-7. There's 14 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. And here comes an end run to Colin Kaepernick. And Kaepernick is going to be pulled down in the backfield. So nice play for the Bears there. Third down and 11. They don't have the strongest set, but in that case, just not a very good roll for Paul. White dice 6 on the off-tackle reading. He doesn't have a 6 rated tackle. So Kaepernick is pulled down 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. That brings up third and 11. This is a screen pass to Le'Veon Bell. The Bears are double teaming Charles Clay, the tight end. And Clay is able to catch it, but he only picks up 4. So that brings up a no man's land fourth down, 4th and 7. Chargers trailing by 6. Plenty of time in this game. This is a long conversion. Let's see if Paul's going to play it safe. It looks like he is. So he's going to play field position, try to kick this thing out of bounds and try to pin him deep. And it looks like he will be able to do so. Well, not a bad kick. That'll put the ball at the 14. So the Bears will take over. 1st and 10 at their own 14. Again, let's set this. This is an AFC wildcard game here in Autumn Wind, the 2017-2018 season. It's the Chicago Bears, 12-4, coached by Luke Delfume, facing off against Paul Half-Man, Half-Mankowicz, 9-7, San Diego Chargers. It's the 4-seed Bears against the 5-seed Chargers. The winner moves on to the divisional round playoffs where the Dallas Cowboys, coached by Mark LePage, is waiting along with Dennis Crowley and his Seattle Seahawks. That first down pickup was good for 5 yards for Ezekiel Elliott. 21 carries, a very pedestrian 52 yards, just 2.5 yards per carry. Here comes another run for Elliott. And this one, he's going to pick up 4, so that'll bring up 3rd and 1. Ball at the Bears 23. They are leading 13-7 over the Chargers. Chicago 7 of 13 in first down conversions. Chargers only 2 of 8. And here's a slant pass to Ladarius Green. That puts 2 men in the zone, and the pass falls incomplete. So on 3rd and 1, he looks for his pass-catching tight end, but again, that free safety moves into the zone, and the pass flutters to the ground. So they will turn the ball over on downs to the Chargers. Now, fingers crossed, everybody. Let's hope that the game doesn't lock up. And it does not. Dennis Crowley, 3 cheers for Dennis Crowley. He may have figured out the issue. The double dice roll. Well, San Diego is going to have good field position. That was Jalen Marshall, an 11-yard return. And that'll place the ball at the 45 of the Chicago Bears. The Chargers are trailing 13-7. Not much offense today from the San Diego Chargers, but they're in great field position. Wow, screen pass to Le'Veon Bell, and he's pulled down 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's just not a very good roll. But look what he's fighting. He's fighting a very strong linebacker set there. Again, he picked on the zone with a 4-rated linebacker. This is a good pass defense. This is a good run defense as well. So not much vulnerability on the Chicago side. They're more than Mariota and Elliott. Here's an end run to Colin Kaepernick. And this time he's going to be pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. So not the start that Paul envisioned with this excellent field position. Pushback to the 49 of the Bears, and it's 3rd and 14. This is not a club that can afford these long third downs. These are tough to convert. They're only 2 for 8 on the day to begin with, and 14 yards is a lot for a club like this. You're almost forced to go deep. Or maybe he's going to consider cutting it in half and just get a flat pass and maybe go for it on 4th down. Let's see what he chooses. This is a slant pass to Delaney Walker. Great call by the Bears. They double team him, and that pass is going to fall incomplete. So Mankiewicz has to be disappointed. Great field position at the 45 of the Bears, and he's actually pushed back to the 49 of the Bears. But he's going to be able to pin him deep again. This time, once again, the Bears are going to take over very deep in their territory. Ball at the 11-yard line. 9 minutes to play, and they're up by 6. Luke's goal is to chew some clock, certainly. String a few first downs together. And if he could tack on one more score, I think he'd have to feel pretty confident. So this is a very important drive for him, as it is for Mankiewicz. Here comes a sideline pass to Emmanuel Sanders. It is good, but only for 4 yards. Not a lot of damage done on either side with the flat pass. There's been a few guess wrongs, a few linebacker sixes, but all in all, it's been a pretty easygoing day as far as flat passes. Nothing crazy. No 30-yard gains. 2nd down and 6. Clock moving. 8:24. Here's another flat pass. This one's going to Odell Beckham, and that pass is incomplete. So the decision is being made early on to pick on those linebackers with 0s and 4s. All right, let's see if Mankiewicz is going to dial up that blitz. He has just a so-so secondary, and he probably feels like that's what he needs to do to flip it from 3rd to 4th down. 52 sacks on the year for this club. Only 6 times was Marcus Mariota sacked during the regular season. I believe he's been sacked twice today. Crossing pattern to Emmanuel Sanders, and Paul chooses not to blitz. The pass falls incomplete. And that's exactly what Mankiewicz wanted. A 3 and out, hardly any time goes off the clock. So San Diego should have reasonable field position here with half the quarter to play, trailing by 6 points. Decent kick, 47 yards, but it's not going to be returned, and that's going to tack on even more yards. So the Chargers will take over at their own 29. I'm sure they were hoping for a little bit better. Now Paul has to figure out how to orchestrate a drive with this club. Plenty of time to play, but he's looking for 6, not 3. Time is becoming a factor. Pass to Clay is caught, correctly double teamed by the defense. But Clay is able to make the reception. I'm sure that Dennis is watching this. He'll probably shoot a note to me, but I for sure saw that Charles Clay was double teamed on that play. Maybe I misread it. Maybe it was a linebacker double team and it wasn't effective. There's some double team rules here that I'm still a little bit unclear on. But that's what I get for still trying to learn this game. Off tackle run right to Le'Veon Bell. He's going to pick up some yards on this play, 18 in fact. That is Le'Veon Bell's 8th carry of the day for 48 yards. And it's a first down for San Diego. Colin Kaepernick under center, 6:18 to play. Ball at the Bears 40. Here's another run for Le'Veon Bell. But this time he's stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Second down and 10 to go. 5:42 on a running clock. The winner advances to the Autumn Wind AFC divisional round. They'll take on either Dallas, the Cowboys, or the Seattle Seahawks. And there's another run for Le'Veon Bell, so suddenly he's become a workhorse. Maybe Paul was saving him here for the fourth quarter. That's 10 carries now for 54 yards for Le'Veon Bell. 6-yard pickup. Manageable third down, but look at those linebackers, 4-6-6. Not a lot of options there. And Chicago adds a linebacker to adds the free safety to the linebacker in that zone, but Mankiewicz counters with a run call, and Le'Veon Bell is able to pick up another 6 yards as it's guessed wrong, and the chains are moved once again. So Mankiewicz now is in field goal range at the 28, but with 4:30 to play, he has to be thinking 6. So we're getting very close to 4-down territory for Paul. He's only thinking pay dirt at this point. Here comes a curl pass to Marquise Goodwin. And the defense guesses run. So let's see if this is going to be something good. No, incomplete. Wow, if it's guessed right, it's a must run, I believe. I think his must run is 7, 8, and 9. Pretty sure. I have to take it. I'm sure we're going to see it again here pretty soon. We'll take a look at it. But that pass falls incomplete to Marquise Goodwin. Second down and 10. Le'Veon Bell has been a factor on this drive. Colin Kaepernick on the day, 159 yards, only 10 of 22. He completed 44% of his passes during the regular season, so he's pretty much on par. Here comes that run to Le'Veon Bell. He's able to pick up only a couple. So now it's 3rd and 8. 3:36 remaining. So again, we are nearing 4-down territory. So does he try to go for it in one fell swoop? Again, those flat pass zones don't have much of an option. Now, he checks in with a 0-rated linebacker, so I'm assuming that's a blitz option. But let's see if he deposits that free safety there. Or maybe he moves that other defensive back up and leaves 3 in the zone. Here comes an inside run. Guessed wrong. Run to Le'Veon Bell. It's Charles Clay that the defense is double teaming. But Bell is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. White dive 4. Left guard reading came up. And Mankiewicz's left guard is a 0. In fact, both of his guards are 0. So now, 4th down. He chooses to go for it. All 3 of his timeouts remaining. So if he doesn't stop him here, if he doesn't make the first down, he's got time to stop him on one more possession. But here comes the play of the game, basically, up until this point for Paul, playing for his playoff future, down 13-7 to the Chicago Bears. Mankiewicz 9-7 during the regular season, a grinded out team with a great defense. But now he's going to have to dial up a big play here of 8 yards. That's Michael Crabtree on the wing along with Marquise Goodwin. And this time he's looking for Delaney Walker. The defense double teams Michael Crabtree. There'll still be 4 men in the zone. And that pass falls incomplete. So the ball will be turned back over to the Bears with 2:42 remaining. 1 first down is going to take care of business, likely. 2:24 remaining. My eyes might be deceiving me, but I swear I thought I saw 24 seconds just go off the clock. So 2:24 remaining. Here comes a sideline pass to Emmanuel Sanders. The defense guesses short yardage. And he's going to pick up 9 on the play, but he fumbles the ball. He fumbles the ball, and San Diego recovers. Oh, what a huge break for the Chargers. Emmanuel Sanders on first down. Defense guesses run. Sanders makes the catch, gets 9 yards, stop 1 short of the first down, but he fumbles the ball. San Diego recovers. So San Diego with brand new life. That's Justin Coleman, reserve defensive back, with the fumble recovery. So now the Chargers again take over at the Bears 36. There's 2:06 remaining. Both teams have all 3 of their timeouts. So new life for San Diego, but they still have to try to figure out how to grind some offense out of this team. Here's an end run for Colin Kaepernick. It's guessed wrong. They're double teaming Michael Crabtree. But it's on the defensive card, and it's only going to net a yard, and Kaepernick is not able to make it out of bounds, but it doesn't matter, as we will now head into the 2-minute warning. Boy, Paul is desperately wanting these readings to be on his cards, but they've been on the defensive cards. And the Bears have a good defensive rating, run and pass. And now Kaepernick is fatigued. So one wonders if we're going to see him run the ball much anymore, if at all. Inside run, this time to Le'Veon Bell. Defense is double teaming good ones, so they've guessed pass. It's guessed wrong. Bell is able to pick up 6 on his own card. And again, it's 3rd and 3. And Mankiewicz has elected to call timeout. I like that call. 1:52 preserves the clock. 3rd down and 3. This could go either way, clearly. Bell has been strong here in this second half, especially here late in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. He's had a lot more carries than he did to begin the game. 2 tight end set for Mankiewicz. Both of his tight ends are 6-rated run blockers. Let's see if he goes off tackle. Here's an inside run to Le'Veon Bell. He is keyed on the play, but it's on the defensive card, and this time he catches a break. Had it been on his card, I don't think he would have been so lucky, but instead it's on the defensive card, and he winds up getting 3 yards and a first down, and Mankiewicz is deciding whether or not to call timeout. And he has. So he has called timeout. 1 minute, 45 seconds remaining. Chargers trailing the Bears 13-7 in this autumn wind first round wild card game. We have one more wild card game to go. It's New Orleans traveling to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. That's the voodoo against the Eagles. In the NFC, the Raiders have already punched their ticket to the divisional round, as have the St. Louis Rams. Here comes a deep pass to Marquise Goodwin. Defense guesses pass, but there's no free safety in the zone. The pass falls incomplete. Colin Kaepernick's card, guessed right. Oh, excuse me, that's the receiver card. Wow, that's not a very, well, that's okay. 2, 8, and 10. Clearly not among the elite. You just got to hope that you don't get a receiver rating. He is being defended by a 5, and this time he's double teamed. Here comes a off-tackle run for Le'Veon Bell. Guessed wrong. And it's going to be on Le'Veon's card. And he finally gets that short gain that he wanted. There you go. So now the ball is at the 7. So finally, so many guessed wrong calls, and Le'Veon Bell finally catches in on one. He picks up a big one, 19 yards. And Mankiewicz will not call timeout, but instead it's the Bears who are going to preserve the clock. And I think that makes all the sense in the world. So now the ball is at the 7. Full house backfield. And that's Sims. That is Charles Sims, who enters the game for the first time. They're going with the 3-man backfield. The split end is the tight end formation, I believe. That would be Delaney Walker, Michael Crabtree. Kaepernick under center. He's already fatigued. If I remember correctly, Sims has a pretty decent guessed wrong card. So the Bears are looking to lock it up right here, play a little defense. They do guess run, and it's going to Charles Sims. But it's a pass play to Charles Sims. And Sims is going to be able to hold this one in for a touchdown. Charles Sims. So first down, goal to go from the 7, from the full house backfield. Mankiewicz calls on Colin Kaepernick, guessed wrong, and he delivers a pass to Charles Sims for his first touch of the day, which is a 7-yard touchdown pass. And the Chargers have now, for the first time in this game, taken the lead at 14-13 with just over a minute to play here in the fourth quarter. So trailing by 1, ball at their own 25, plenty of weapons. Plenty of weapons on this team. Obviously, Odell Beckham and Emmanuel Sanders. Ezekiel Elliott still could be used for some runs. They do have 2 timeouts left, but again, as we've mentioned in this broadcast, plenty of blitzes can be dialed up by a team that had 52 sacks during the year. They already have 2 in this game. Yeah, both teams have had 2 sacks in this game. So they'll go with a 3-wide set. San Diego counters 3-3-5. They choose not to rush the quarterback here, and instead they play 3 in the flat, excuse me. Oh gosh, it's a must-run call. A little tongue-tied there. That's Marcus Mariota. He does pick up 8 on the play. He does have a fantastic must-run card. Not quite as dynamic as Colin Kaepernick's, but it's very, very good. But time is a factor, and so the Bears will have to call timeout on that run. It's a good pickup of 8 yards, but they'll have to burn a timeout. 1:07 to go. Ball at the 33. Bears kicker Robbie Gould is a good one. He already has 2 field goals in this game. So they may be calling on him if they can get close enough to field goal range. That is a run. Excuse me. That's a quick pass to Odell Beckham. Now, was he able to make it out of bounds? Sometimes that animation fools me. He did not get out of bounds. So now there's a minute to play. 3-wide set. How many times can they think about flat passes and runs? They've got to start getting some chunk yardage here with a minute to go and no timeouts remaining. Ball at the 37. They're going to need to have at least 30 yards on this drive to give themselves any chance, to give Robbie Gould any chance. He'll take about 30 yards. So I think we're likely going to see some short passes here very soon. And here we go. This one's going to Emmanuel Sanders. Chargers are not double teaming, and Sanders makes the catch. He picks up 11, but he's unable to get out of bounds. So Luke probably is going to spike this. Nope. First down. They're just going to play hurry up. They'll keep all three running. Excuse me, they're three wide set. Will just stay on the field. They'll just line up over the ball. Mankiewicz counters 3-2-6. Perhaps we're going to see some double teams here, but they're edging closer to field goal range. Here comes that pass to Ladarius Green, who's been fantastic this game. He is not double teamed. Defense elects to double team both of their wide receivers. He makes the catch, and this time he's able to get out of bounds. So a nice break for Luke Delfume as the clock stops with 30 seconds. The ball now is at the 45. They are getting closer and closer to field goal range for Robbie Gould. Probably take him another 10 yards to have any chance. No timeouts remaining. Pistol formation here for Mariota. Ezekiel at his hip. Beckham, Artrell Hawkins, Emmanuel Sanders are the wideouts. Ladarius Green is the tight end. Mariota with 286 yards passing, closing in on 300, but that doesn't matter right now. It's all about trying to get in field goal range. Here's another quick pass, this one to Ladarius Green. It's caught. Is he going to be able to make his way out of bounds? No, he does not. So they're going to have to spike this one. The ball now is at the 39. He does get a first down, but I don't believe he's going to be in field goal range for Gould. At this point, it's a 56-yarder. He does spike the ball. So 15 seconds to go. Three wide set. Does Mankiewicz dial up one more blitz that effectively is going to end this game, or does he play it safe and keep those linebackers in the zone and not risk a big play? Really, it's about keeping him in bounds. If he stays in bounds, this game might be over. I don't know if Stratomatic's going to give him one more play or not. Three wide set, 3-3-5. And it's going to be a quick pass to Odell Beckham. Defense chooses to double team. That goes to Beckham over the middle. He picks up 5. Will he have another play? Will they give him another play? That pass was caught over the middle. And they are going to give him one play. He has one more second. So Robbie Gould comes on to kick a 51-yard field goal to give them the win. The Bears' playoff hopes are riding on the toe of one Robbie Gould. And the kick is up. It's going to be good. It's good. And the Bears have pulled it out. The Bears have pulled it out. Terrific last-second drive leading to a, oh, wow, what a fantastic game. We'll have to call up the box score here real quick. It threw up the wrong one, so let's get the measurement on it here to make sure. But an outstanding contest between these two coaches. That was a 51-yard field goal in the waning moments of this game to give the Chicago Bears, who last season won one game, lost 15, added Ezekiel Elliott, and 1,700 yards later, the Bears are moving on in the playoffs and will face either the Seattle Seahawks or the Dallas Cowboys. San Diego, a very courageous performance, took their first lead of the game with just over a minute to play when Colin Kaepernick found reserve running back Chris Sims for a 7-yard reception in the end zone. But with a minute to go, calm and cool and collected, Luke Delfume makes it happen. He drives their team over midfield, 25 yards, and then gets them to the 34. So he was able to navigate 39 yards in only a minute. And after a 5-yard pass from Odell Beckham, lined him up in the middle of the field Ball at the 34. Robbie Gold comes through for his third kick of the game. And that is your winner. So another one that comes right down to the wire. We've had 3 outstanding contests here in this wild card round of Autumn Wind. And the Bears defend home field, and they are moving on to the divisional playoffs here in Autumn Wind. We'll take one more look at the statistics here. The first downs were pretty even between both clubs. San Diego 15, Chicago 19. Chicago was able to convert on 7 out of 15 third downs compared to only 4 out of 12 from San Diego. But on that last drive, they hit on multiple third downs, and they gave themselves a chance, again, taking that touchdown lead with just seconds to go in the fourth quarter. It was looking really good for Paul Mankiewicz, but Luke Delfume and Marcus Mariota are headed to the next round. Colin Kaepernick, 11 completions out of 25, 44%. That's pretty much what he completed through the year. He did throw 2 touchdowns, and he did not have an interception. He also rushed for 25 yards. It's kind of a down number for him considering he ran for 1,000 yards during the season. The Chargers were the only team to have 2 1,000-yard rushers. That's Kaepernick and Le'Veon Bell, who toted the rock a lot more successfully in the second half. 16 carries, 490 yards. Marcus Mariota, 29 out of 40, 297 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. His main man was Odell Beckham, 12 catches for 115 yards. The game's first score, in fact, that was in the second quarter on a 54-yard scoring strike. He also had a 60-yard scoring strike to Emmanuel Sanders with just a few ticks left to go in the first half that gave them a late field goal that also gave them the lead, as a matter of fact. There were some very, very big passes in this contest. For the Bears, Ezekiel Elliott, 22 carries, only 56 yards, no touchdowns, only 2.5 per carry average for Ezekiel Elliott. He also had 2 catches, but only for 7 yards. Mariota, 5 carries for 30 yards. So we look here defensively to see if there's any stats that stand out. Nothing really to mind. There was that pickoff by the 6th-rated Xavier Rhodes, the only interception of the game. Emmanuel Sanders' fumble late in the fourth quarter almost cost the Bears the contest. Chargers were able to score on a 7-yard pass with just over a minute to play to give a 14-13 lead to San Diego, who certainly was looking like they were in the driver's seat to pull off the road upset. But again, 39 yards covered in less than a minute, capped off by a 51-yard field goal from Robbie Gold, his 3rd field goal of the game, and Luke Delfume. And the 12-win Chicago Bears are moving forward in the playoffs as they defeat the San Diego Chargers. So congratulations to Paul Mankiewicz. He made this a very, very good game. But moving on is a very young, very deep, and very talented Chicago team who could give either the Dallas Cowboys or the Seattle Seahawks fits. So congratulations, Luke. Best to you, Paul Mankiewicz. We'll see you in future leagues. And I appreciate the opportunity that everybody stayed with me today. This was not an easy one to stick around with because of the broadcast lags. I will put a note in the broadcast so that we'll know what to skip over, because there was at least 20 minutes of dead air, and I apologize for that. I'm sorry that didn't work out, but thank you so much for sticking with me. We'll be back to broadcast the Eagles Voodoo game as soon as that one is scheduled. And my best to everybody out there, and enjoy Super Bowl Sunday today, everybody. My best to everyone, and God bless.